Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, welcome back to the channel, man. Welcome to Fruit City Church TV. Man, if you're your first time and you're new, man, go ahead and like and share, subscribe, hit that button, subscribe it, like it, share it, man, and connect with someone. Let them know that I'm on today. Today is very special. Once a month we come on, we do this thing we call Encouragement Corner. So welcome to the Encouragement Corner. We're back in the game room, man. Listen, I want to encourage you today. But first of all, before I get started, shout out those of you on the West Coast. If you may be watching from Los Angeles or something like that, I'm giving a shout out to the Los Angeles Rams, Super Bowl champions, man. And congratulations, man. Especially to the quarterback, man. That had made the switch over. Been losing for years with Detroit. And he switched over to Matthew Stafford, and he was able to win the chip, man. And sometimes in life that happens. I want to encourage you that sometimes you can, for years, just depend on you, knowing that no matter what you do, you just lose all the time. And then all of a sudden, you make a switch, and then you carrying the championship ring. That's what Matthew Stafford did. All these years in the league, he would lose and lose and lose. Then he made a switch to the LA Rams, and all of a sudden he wins the championship. Nothing against my Detroit family, nothing against you, man, but listen, sometimes we need a switch. And that's what this is all about. The Encouragement Corner, that's what this is all about. This is all about a new you, the making of a new you. We've been coming on for the last few months talking about this whole idea of a making of a new you. We talked about the making of a new you, what we need to do to accomplish that. Last month, we said to make a new you need a new plan. And this week, man, I want to say that if you're going to want a new you need new thinking, man. You need new thinking. This year is all about revamping your look. It's all about revamping not only your look, but your life. Because if you do your look and your life, you will revamp your future. So, I want to get really right into this thing about new thinking. You have the outstanding ability to achieve whatever you want to do. But it begins with the operating of the highest mental capacity that you can. No matter what you're doing in life, life is like a roller coaster. There's ups, man. There's downs. There's all arounds. But the thing about it is there's speed, there's slow, there's rolling. But the thing about revamping the new you and new thinking, you got to operate at the highest level of mental capacity. You must change your thoughts so you can see the possible instead of the impossible. And that requires changing your thinking, changing your thought patterns. And today, I'm achieving what I'm doing. I am doing what I dreamed, what I dreamt of, what I've ever dreamed today is because I was able to think right, man. And somebody would ask, well, Pastor, how do you do pastor the church? How do you life coach and mentor in a nonprofit organization? Or they may ask, how do you coach high school, junior high sports athletes, and also an athletic director for coaches? And I will simply tell you, I'm doing everything I love to do. Most of you that know me, I love to speak, I love to teach, I love sports. So I'm operating at everything I've ever dreamed of. And the only way that I'm able to do that, I had to change my capacity, my mental processing, and my thinking. In order to do that, I had to become a learner. And that's what you're here today, is that I'm praying that you ever stop learning. I'm praying that you ever stop yearning for those greatest desires in your life, and you become a learner today. Because it was once said by an educator that you cannot do what failures do and get results of successful people. You can't do what failures do and get results of successful people. You can't copy everybody. You got to copy the right cat. If you're going to be a copycat, you got to copy the right cat, because you cannot do what failures do and get results of successful people. Failures do not read. So in other words, failures don't read. That's why failures don't grow. It's because they don't read. So I'm here today talking about, you want a new you, you want a new future. You gotta have some new thinking, man. So that leads me to this. Let me introduce to you today 4 styles 4 styles of thinking. And as you develop your mind, listen to me, as you develop your mind, your mode of thinking will begin to change because your mind will begin to develop. One thing about me is, man, I'm constantly reading, I'm constantly listening to people, I'm constantly looking at patterns of life, and my mind is constantly developing. It's constantly developing. Don't, watch this everybody, don't keep the same way of thinking because it's become familiar. There's a great story I want to tell you real quick, a story about a married couple. His wife was in the kitchen cooking, and the husband asked the wife, "Hey babe, why do you cut the ham and up and put it in? Why do you cut it all up and put it into the meal?" He goes, "Because my mama did it." And so they finally called the mama and said, "Mama, well, why do you cut up the meat and put it up in all of the meals?" He says, "Because my mama did it." So they called the grandmother, and the grandmother they told the grandmother, "Why do you cut up the ham and put it all up in the meat? Why do you cut it up?" She said, "Well, I only did it because I didn't have a big enough pan." In other words, they were doing the same thing, thinking the same way because it was familiar. And that's what a lot of your mistakes is that your thinking is stinking because you're familiar. You need to open up yourself, open up your mind to let the capacity of your mind grow, man. Read. Leaders are readers, man. And that's what you need to do. So the first one is this. Number one, you got to learn, if you want a new thinking, you got to learn how to think alone. You got to learn how to think alone, because sit alone. Think about solutions. Think about solutions and not problems. When you're sitting alone, you need to think more about solutions and not problems. Can I tell you this? Whatever you concentrate on, it grows. If you concentrate on losing, you lose more. If whatever you concentrate on, it grows. You need to sit alone. And not only sit alone and idle thinking, but you need to sit alone in creative thinking, because whatever you concentrate on, it grows. Number two, you need to think with other amazing minds. You need to think with other people that are thinkers. Man, you need to not be afraid to throw things out there, man. As a pastor, sometimes when I'm starting a sermon series, I throw things out there, man, to my creative team, and they'll say, "What about this? What about that? Then you can add this, then you can add that." You can't be the smartest in the room. It's a dumb idea to be the smartest in the room. Oh, you can tweak that if you want. It is a dumb idea to be the smartest in the room. You need to surround yourself with people that are thinkers, people that can help you think. It was, do y'all know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? I think it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He says, one man can be a crucial ingredient to a team, but one man can't make a team. Yeah, I need LeBron. I need him to drop 38. But I do need somebody to score something else, because we just can't win the game with 38 points. One man can be crucial to the team, but he can't be the whole team. And you need to understand that. If you're trying to win in your life and you're thinking, you need other people to help you think. You need a coach, man. You need a life coach. Hey, call me up, man. It might cost you a little something, but listen, everything in life costs something, and you need to know that. If you're not willing to pay for it, you're not willing to reach for it. And I am telling you today that you need to change your thinking. The third way of thinking is think on paper. What I mean by think on paper is think on paper through journalizing. Journal, man. You need to start journaling. Start thinking on paper. I'm trying to do that a little bit more. My wife says I write a paper twice a week. In other words, when I'm preaching, I'm always writing a paper, 400 or 500 words, ain't nothing to me. But you need to think more on paper, write it down, see when you wrote it down, put the date by it, and see if you accomplished those things. Journal what you think. When you think of something, pick your phone out, put it in there, man. Start beginning to journal, and because your mind will begin to expand, you'll start reaching for books. You'll start reaching for things that you need to help you get where you are. So number one, man, listen. You got to think alone. You got to think alone, because whatever you concentrate on grows. Number two, you need to put some great minds around you and be able to think, because one person doesn't make a team. It takes a lot of people to make a team. Number three, you need to start journalizing. Think on paper. And then the last one is, and I'm going to let you go, is you need to have the art of thinking big. Let everybody say it with me, big. Some of you are small thinking. That's why you got small results. You need to start thinking big. And if somebody says that's too much, then you need to drop them. In other words, don't let anybody else wake you up while you're having a good dream. One thing I hate is somebody to wake me up in the middle of a good dream, because thinking big causes big things to happen. Shout out to my homeboy, PMJ. He made the song says, and it's gonna be big. That's what you need to go around telling everybody, that what I'm doing in this new year is gonna be big. My money's gonna be big. My house gonna be big. My family gonna be big. But know this, when you think big, you get big problems. So you gotta be ready, man. Listen, I'm trying to help you make a new you, but with a new you comes a new way of planning. With a new you comes a new way of thinking. But I guarantee you, you will have a greater future with a new you. I'm closing with exposing yourself. Listen, no matter how you think, your thinkers will never grow until they expose themselves to other people. Quit worrying about what people are going to say about you and worry about what you're going to say. Oh God, I am to the point where I'm past what people are going to say. And you got to say today, I'm exposing myself to newness. I'm exposing to myself to creativity. And I'm going to tell you, once you expose yourself, there is nothing that is impossible for you to obtain once you become a creative and a greater thinker. Listen, this is your boy, Pastor David Adams, man. This is the Encouragement Corner. Like, share, and subscribe. Pass this on to somebody who you think needs to be encouraged about their thinking. I'm here to help the making of a new you. You be blessed, my friend.